Before the first kingdoms rose from the dust, before heroes carved their names into legend, there was fire. Not the fire of hearths and lanterns, not the tame flame that warms our homes against the cold. This was divine fire, stolen from the gods themselves, and for that theft, a Titan was condemned to an eternity of suffering. High upon the jagged peaks of the Caucasus Mountains, Prometheus hangs in chains forged by Olympus. Each day, an eagle descends from the storm to tear at his flesh. Each night, his wounds return. Endless punishment, endless pain. Yet even the gods could not extinguish the spark he gave to mankind. But this is not merely the tale of a Titan's torment. It is the story of a weary shepherd, a forbidden friendship, and the quiet moments between myth and memory, because legends are not only forged in wars between gods. Sometimes they are born beside a dying fire, in the silence between two souls abandoned by the world. Tonight, we descend into the shadows of ancient Greece to hear the story of the Firegiver's final guest. This is Mythic Side Stories. The eagle was late today, which was worse than when it was punctual. Prometheus hung in his chains, the iron biting his wrists like an old mate who'd overstayed their welcome. The mountain's wind screamed through the crags, carrying the faint glow of fires from the valley below, mortal fires, his fires, stolen from Olympus's forge, gifted to those shivering apes who now built cities and burned them down with equal zeal. Worth it? He wasn't sure anymore. The eagle's absence left him with his thoughts, a punishment sharper than talons. He'd outwitted Zeus, slipped past Hephaestus's anvil with a smoldering coal in his hands, and laughed as he tossed it to humanity. Now, centuries later, his liver was an all-you-can-eat buffet for a bird with no table manners. Divine justice, Zeus called it. Prometheus called it overkill. A clatter of stones broke his brooding. Below, a figure climbed the jagged path, a mortal, cloaked in sheepskin, clutching a water skin and a bundle of rags. Prometheus squinted. Mortals usually came to curse him, blaming his gift for their scorched fields or warring tribes. This one moved with purpose, not malice. He reached the ledge panting, his face weathered like the cliffs, eyes glinting with something like defiance. "You're late," Prometheus rasped, voice rusty from disuse. "The eagle's got first dibs on my innards, but I can pencil you in for sunset." The man snorted, kneeling beside the Titan. Funny, for a god who looks like he lost a bet with a blacksmith. He dabbed water on the raw gash where the eagle had dined, the coolness stinging like a slap. Prometheus hissed but didn't flinch. "Why bother?" Prometheus asked, eyeing the herbs the man crushed into a poultice. "Zeus sees everything. He'll smite you for playing nurse." The man shrugged, smearing green paste on the wound. "Fire keeps my flock alive through winter. Cooks my stew too. Least I can do is keep you from bleeding out before your next mauling." He paused, smirking. "Besides, Zeus is busy throwing lightning at drunks. I'll take my chances." Prometheus chuckled, a dry sound like crumbling stone. "Bold for a sheep herder. What's your name, mortal?" "Elias. And you're the Firegiver, unless that eagle's been pecking the wrong god." "Flatterer." Prometheus shifted, chains clinking. The iron wasn't just metal. Hephaestus's Olympian-forged bonds pulsed with malice, sapping his strength, fogging his foresight until every vision felt like a fever dream. "You know my gift burns as much as it warms, don't you? Your kind forge swords with it, raze villages. I saw a city burn last week from up here. Quite the view." Elias's hands stilled, his jaw tightening. My son wielded one of those swords. Died for it, in a war over some king's ego. Fire's a tricky bastard, Firegiver. Like you, I reckon." Prometheus's smirk faded. The grief in Elias's eyes mirrored his own doubts, amplified by the chain's relentless weight, each clink whispering failure. "Was I wrong to give it?" he muttered, half to himself. "I thought it would lift you lot from the mud. Instead, you're drowning in it." Elias tied a cloth over the wound, fingers steady. Wrong? Maybe. But my daughter sings by the hearth. My neighbors smelt plows. Fire's not the problem. We are. He stood, brushing dirt from his knees. Rest up. Eagle's got a date with your liver tomorrow. The chains pressed harder that night, their enchanted iron grinding against his resolve, turning his mind to loops of what-ifs. Immortality was a curse when bound. Time stretched like the Caucasus peaks, endless and unforgiving. Yet Elias's visit lingered, a faint spark against the cold. Over the next evenings, Elias returned, slipping up the mountain like a shadow defying the gods. Each visit stretched longer, the shepherd's presence a balm against the eternal chill. Prometheus, bound by chains and the curse of foresight, opened up in ways he hadn't since the Titanomachy, the war that shattered the old order. Born of Iapetus and ocean nymph Clymene, he was brother to Atlas, who bore the heavens. Epimetheus, the fool of hindsight, and Menœtius, felled by Zeus's bolt. But Prometheus, the forethinker, saw fate's threads before they tangled. On the second night, as Elias applied aloe and myrrh scavenged from the valley, Prometheus gazed at the stars, distant fires he'd envied. "You mortals think I'm just the thief of fire," he said, voice wry. "But I molded you from clay after the Titans fell. Zeus withheld fire to keep you weak, punishment for my defiance." His mind drifted to the theft. He saw himself creeping into Hephaestus's forge, foresight dodging the Cyclops' gaze, fennel stalk glowing with stolen embers. "I hid the spark in that stalk," he murmured to Elias, eyes distant. "Zeus's thunder roared, but I laughed, foreseeing the first mortal hearth, a woman's trembling hands, eyes wide as the flame spread, birthing tools, art, ambition." Elias paused, wiping his hands on his cloak. "Molded us? Like a potter with mud? Explains why we're so fragile." He chuckled darkly. "And this foresight, you saw the eagle too? The chains forged by Hephaestus, who pitied you but obeyed Zeus?" Prometheus nodded, chains rattling like grim applause. "Every detail. The Caucasus, piercing the sky, the eagle, Echidna's spawn, half serpent, half horror. Zeus's personal touch, ensuring I suffer eternally. My liver regrows nightly, only to be devoured at dawn. Poetic, isn't it? The god of foresight, blind to nothing but his own regrets." The chains gnawed deeper, their malice clouding his mind, making foresight a taunt, freedom glimpsed yet unreachable. "They erode me," he confessed, voice low. "Each clink hums with Zeus's spite, fraying my will, whispering surrender. But I endure, for what else is there?" Elias's eyes widened, but he kept his tone light. "Sounds like a bad family feud. My brother stole my best ram. I thumped him. Didn't chain him to a rock, though." He smirked. "Why not use that foresight to escape?" "Ah, shepherd, that's the joke." Prometheus leaned forward, eyes gleaming with bitter humor. "I see Heracles, lion-slaying hero, shattering these chains one day. But until then, I endure. Foresight shows the path, not shortcuts. And you? I see storm clouds over your village, Zeus's vengeance. Yet here you are, tending a titan like a stray lamb." Elias waved it off. "Storms come and go. I've got fire to dry my boots. Tell me of your life before. Why defy the king of Olympus?" Prometheus's gaze softened, memory easing the chain's bite. "Before, I was advisor to gods. During the Titanomachy, I foresaw Zeus's victory over my grandfather Cronus, the time-eater who devoured his children. I switched sides, sparing my brothers the worst." His mind flashed to the war, a 10-year cataclysm across Thessaly's plains. Titans, led by Cronus wielding his sickle, ruled from Mount Othrys, Caius shaking the earth, Crius summoning storms, Oceanus commanding seas. Zeus, hidden by Rhea from Cronus's maw, rallied his siblings from Olympus. "I saw the stalemate," Prometheus said. "Mountains hurled, skies split. I urged peace, but Zeus freed the Cyclops, and Hecatonchires, 100-handed giants from Tartarus. Their boulders buried titans. Zeus's bolts felled Cronus. My kin were chained in the abyss. Save me for my aid. But my later tricks, molding mortals, tricking Zeus at Mecone with bones for gods, meat for men, sealed my fate. Fire was the final straw. Elias leaned in, wind howling. Giants with 100 hands, nightmare fuel. Prometheus chuckled, chains grinding. I, Briareus, was a terror. That war birthed your world's order, shepherd. My foresight saw it, but these bonds mock me, turning visions into scars. Elias settled on a rock. We mortals have tales of fire. Long ago, we huddled in darkness, beasts at our heels. A hunter stole flame from a lightning-struck tree. It warmed us, but burned. A boy danced too close, lost his hand, gained wisdom. Fire teaches respect. My grandmother's tale. A smith forged a dragon-slaying blade, but its blood quenched the forge, drowning the village. Fire gives, fire takes. We honor it with bonfires, songs of warmth and warning. Prometheus smiled faintly. Your mortals mirror us, ambition and folly. Before I wandered among titans, plotting against Cronus' tyranny. Foresight showed his fall, but these chains twist my mind, echoing failure. Your stories lighten them. Elias grinned darkly. Then trade more. Your brother's fates? Atlas holds the sky, back bent under stars, I warned him. Epimetheus regrets Pandora's jar, evils loosed. Meneuchus, bolt struck, is gone. My life was alliances, visions, now this rock, this torment. On the third visit, Prometheus's foresight twitched. A wind nymph, Aura's kin, lurked in the gusts, her whispers bound for Zeus. He kept silent, letting Elias's tale drown her out. The shepherd brought hearth-baked bread, sharing it though Prometheus needed no sustenance. Another tale, Elias said, a fire spirit, born from your theft, wanders our valley, igniting hearths, but scorching liars. A farmer swore it burned his barn for cheating a neighbor. Fire judges, warms the honest, devours the greedy. Prometheus laughed, the chains fog parting. Wiser than gods, I foresaw Pandora's evils, plagues, wars, hope trapped in her jar. My brother tripped over that gift, despite my warnings. Foresight's a cruel jester, shepherd. Elias snorted. Rival gods? We're lucky we don't trip over our shadows. Mind you, I foresaw my brother nicking that ram. Didn't stop him, but it was a laugh. The eagle's early arrival shattered their routine. Its wings eclipsed the sun, born of Typhon and Echidna, storm giant and serpent mother. Prometheus's foresight screamed its approach. Elias, go, now. The shepherd was mid-bandage. Just a bird, not a bird. Echidna's spawn, Prometheus thrashed. Over here, you feathered fiend, I'm the eternal snack bar. Talons tore deeper, blood spraying. He roared, visions flashing, Elias fleeing, Zeus's storm brewing, a future where the shepherd's tales sparked bards' songs. Elias bolted, staff clattering. The eagle feasted, and Prometheus's world was pain, the chains amplifying each agony, whispering surrender. When the beast left, he slumped, flesh knitting agonizingly. Days passed without Elias. Foresight showed Zeus's flood, rivers like the Styx, sweeping flocks and homes. Prometheus cursed his gift. See everything, change nothing. On the 10th night, Elias returned, limping, cloak ragged, eyes fierce. Village half drowned. Lost my hide, but not my fire. He collapsed beside the Titan, no herbs, just words. Your foresight true? Always, Prometheus said weakly. But I see you rebuilding. A grandson sailing seas I've foreseen, honoring fire without ruin. Heracles frees me one day. Zeus's own son, ironic redeemer. Your visits, they're my hope. Elias grinned, dark as ever. Hope? From a muddy mortal? You gods are daft. He clasped Prometheus's chained hand. Keep seeing, Firegiver. We'll keep burning. As Elias descended, the valley's fires twinkled, rebuilt hearths, defiant sparks. Prometheus watched, foresight unveiling a distant dawn, chains breaking, humanity ascending, Elias's grandson wielding a torch to light a city rivaling Olympus, a spark worth enduring for. The eagle's shadow loomed, but the forethinker smiled. Burn bright, shepherd. The god's reign isn't eternal. The mountain echoed with wind, but in his visions it sang of change. And so, the fires of mankind continued to burn, long after the gods had turned their eyes away. Prometheus remained upon the mountain for countless years more, but somewhere below, in the valleys lit by fragile hearths and wandering torchlight, humanity endured. And perhaps that was the Titan's true victory. Not defiance, not vengeance, but hope. If you enjoyed this journey into the myths of ancient Greece and you'd like to hear more forgotten tales, hidden tragedies, and side stories from legend, then consider supporting the channel. Leave a like to help keep the fire alive. Subscribe to join us for future myths and legends, and ring the bell so you don't miss the next story. From gods and monsters to heroes, kings, and lost souls wandering the underworld, there are many more stories yet to be told. Until next time, keep the fire burning. This has been Mythic Side Stories.